The first signal arrived on a quiet night when most of Earth slept. Captain Rian Hale was on duty aboard the deep space listening station Argus 12, a lonely outpost built to monitor strange activity in the far edges of the galaxy. Nothing unusual ever happened there. The screen stayed empty, the sensor stayed silent, and the crew spent most nights fighting boredom. But tonight was different. A soft alarm broke the silence. At first, Rian thought it was a glitch. The system sometimes created false warnings when the solar winds got too strong. But this time, the signal was too structured, too deliberate, too intelligent. Rian leaned closer. The pattern repeated itself again. A low-frequency pulse, followed by a sharp spike, almost like a heartbeat. He felt a chill. "This is not natural," he whispered. He called the rest of the crew. Within minutes, the small control room filled with tired officers now fully awake. They stared at the repeating signal, growing stronger every second, coming from deep space, far beyond any human presence. Then the translation system picked up a few broken fragments. "Species unknown, not in our records, prepare fleet." The crew froze. Whoever sent this message was not talking to humans. They didn't even know humanity existed. They were warning someone else. And from the intensity of the signal, it sounded like their enemy was extremely dangerous. Lieutenant Mara swallowed hard. "Sir, I think we intercepted a message from a galactic empire. And they don't know we're here." Rian's heartbeat quickened. "If they don't know us, they also don't know what we can do." Before he could say more, the signal shifted again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was coordinates. Coordinates of a location where a massive enemy fleet was gathering. Humanity didn't know the Empire, but the Empire was about to learn exactly who humans were and what they were capable of. Humanity did not rush. That was never their way. When Captain Rian Hale forwarded the strange coordinates to Earth Command, the reaction was controlled, cautious, and deeply serious. Within hours, a covert task group was assembled, small, silent, and hidden from every known sensor net. Their mission was simple. Observe first. Understand the threat. Do not reveal humanity. Commander Aria Solis led the reconnaissance fleet. Her ship, the Whisper, was coated with experimental stealth plating, light-bending metal that made it nearly invisible. Only a handful of humans even knew such technology existed. As her ship slipped into FTL, Aria reviewed the intercepted message again. Unknown species, not in our records. It bothered her. How could a galactic empire so large, so technologically advanced, know nothing about humanity? Earth had stayed quiet for decades, focusing on internal peace and slow expansion. But still, total absence from galactic records was unsettling. When the fleet arrived at the coordinates, every officer on board froze. Before them floated an armada so huge that it looked like a swarm of metallic insects stretched across space. Dozens of colossal war carriers, thousands of escort ships, and a command vessel the size of a small moon, all of them positioned for war. This enemy the Empire fears. Arya whispered, "Just what are they fighting?" As if answering her question. The scanners picked up movement. Another fleet approaching the Empire's armada. Sleek, sharp ships. Dark hulls. Aggressive design. They looked like predators shaped from metal. Arya felt a heavy tension settle in her chest. If these two fight, the galaxy will tremble. She ordered complete silence. No transmissions. No engine flares above minimal output. Humanity would watch, hidden in the shadows, learning everything. But then it happened. One of the Predator ships turned its sensors directly toward the Whisper. Its scanners swept the dark. Aria's eyes widened. They sensed us. Humanity was supposed to be invisible, but something out there had noticed. Commander Aria Solis held her breath as the hostile ship scanners swept across the darkness. The Whisper was invisible to normal detection. Even advanced empires would struggle to notice it. But this enemy, this unknown force, acted like it smelled something hidden, a predatory instinct. Its ship tilted slightly, turning a needle-like bow toward Aria's position. The crew went silent. No one dared speak, as if a single sound might give them away. The enemy vessel emitted a thin pulse of energy, quiet, sharp, and deliberate. Is that a scan? Lieutenant Wren asked in a whisper. No, Arya said. It's searching, like it's tracking a heartbeat. The pulse passed over them. The screens flickered for a moment. Even through all their shielding, the signal touched everything. It wasn't a normal scan. It felt alive. But after a long, tense moment, the enemy ship turned away. It had sensed something, but not enough. Arya exhaled slowly. She motioned for the crew to remain silent. They're dangerous, different from the Empire. They detect more with instinct than machines. Out the window, the two armadas floated in a cold standoff, colossal ships frozen in tension. Then, without warning, the Predator fleet fired first. It wasn't a test shot. It wasn't a warning. It was a full assault. Thousands of beams lit up the darkness at once, striking the Empire's front line. Gigantic ships tore apart like paper. Fireballs erupted across space. Shock waves rippled for thousands of kilometers. The Empire responded with heavy cannons, releasing storms of golden plasma. Entire sectors became blinding light. The battle was ferocious, chaotic, brutal. Arya gripped her seat. This is not a war, she whispered. This is extermination. Her crew watched silently as fleets died in seconds. And in that awful moment, Arya understood something chilling. Both sides were powerful, yet neither had the slightest idea humanity existed. But soon they would, and nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The battle raged like a storm tearing the galaxy open. Commander Arya Solis watched in shock as entire fleets vanished in bursts of fire. Thousands of ships destroyed within minutes. Both sides fought with brutality that felt ancient, almost instinctive. But Arya wasn't here to feel fear. She was here to make a choice, one that could define humanity's future. Every officer on the Whisper stared at her, waiting. Their mission was only observation. No interference, no contact, and definitely no engagement. But the battlefield was collapsing. The Predator fleet pushed forward like a tidal wave, ripping through the Empire's core ships. If they won, they might spread across the stars, and one day they would find Earth. Arya clenched her jaw. Humanity couldn't stay hidden forever. But revealing themselves now could draw attention from monsters on both sides. Lieutenant Wren broke the silence. Commander! If the Predator fleet wins, they'll keep expanding. And if the Empire wins, they'll look for whoever intercepted their signal. Arya knew he was right. Either way, humanity couldn't escape. Options, she asked quietly. Silence. Then, slowly, strategist Lin spoke. There's one option. We don't take a side. We remove the board. Arya raised an eyebrow. Explain. Lin pointed to a massive structure behind the battlefield. Something neither fleet was focusing on. A pulsing station absorbing stray energy from the fight. A key power relay for both armies. If that station falls, Lin said, it'll collapse the battlefield's energy grid. Both sides' weapons will shut down. Engines will fail. Chaos will stop the war, temporarily. Arya stared at the structure, then at the burning battlefield. A silent thought formed in her mind. Humanity could end the battle without being seen. It was risky, dangerous, maybe impossible, but it was their only chance to stay invisible and alive. Commander Arya Solis made her decision. Humanity would not choose a side. Humanity would end the battle, quietly, surgically, without leaving a trace. Her crew waited for her command, tense and silent. Target the power relay station. Arya said calmly, one shot, maximum compression, no signature. The Whisper's engineers swallowed hard. This weapon was experimental, illegal in some nations on Earth. It didn't fire a beam or missile. Instead, it created a microscopic tear, a focused ripple that destabilized anything it touched. A shot like that would look like an accident. The ship's core hummed. Lights dimmed. Panels vibrated. Lieutenant Wren whispered, Commander, once we fire, we run. Fust. Arya nodded. We leave before anyone understands what happened. On the main display, the massive energy station pulsed steadily, feeding power to both colossal fleets. It was the heart of the battlefield, and they were about to stop it. Fire, Arya said. The whisper released a silent pulse. No fluss, no sound, no trail. The ripple crossed space like an invisible blade. For 2 long seconds, nothing changed. Then the energy station's core flickered, once, twice, and collapsed in on itself. A shockwave of failing power rippled outward like a falling domino line. Suddenly, every ship, Empire and Predator alike, froze. Weapons powered down mid-fire. Engines sputtered. Shields vanished. Thousands of ships drifted helplessly. Confusion exploded through both fleets. Command channels filled with panic signals. They had no idea what had happened. Arya stood perfectly still, watching the chaos unfold. "Go," she said softly. "We disappear." The whisper jumped into FTL before any sensors recovered. Behind them, the battlefield fell into silent disorder. 2 mighty war machines, crippled in an instant, both assuming the other was responsible. Humanity had just changed the war without anyone knowing they existed. But the galaxy wouldn't stay confused for long. Someone would come looking. The galaxy fell silent after the sudden collapse of the battlefield. Both the Empire and the Predator fleet scrambled to recover, but nothing made sense. The mighty fleets had fought with fury, yet their weapons and engines had failed simultaneously. Confusion and fear spread like wildfire. Commander Arya Solis and her crew aboard the Whisper watched from deep space, invisible and calm. Humanity had stayed hidden, yet they had altered the outcome of a war no one thought they could touch. No one knew who was behind the sabotage. No one knew who had changed the course of events. Back on Earth, the Council of Humanity's leaders monitored the reports in silence. They knew the galaxy had seen the might of humans indirectly. The Empire's intelligence would investigate every record. They would search the stars. They would try to find the species that had caused such a perfect strike. Arya stood before her crew. "We've made our mark," she said quietly. "They don't know us yet, but they will." The first hints came within days. Scattered sensor readings, strange patterns in star maps, reports of ships disappearing without trace. The Empire panicked. Species not in our records, impossible, unknown. Their messages repeated, filled with fear. Humanity had gone from myth to a ghost they could not track. For the Predator fleet, the realization was equally shocking. They had been outsmarted without knowing the opponent's nature. Their arrogance shattered. Both galactic powers began preparations for something unseen, something deadly. Reinhale, observing from the listening station at Earth, smiled. Humanity had not declared war. They had not shown themselves. Yet the galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were not to be underestimated. The Empire would remember the annihilated enemy fleet. The Predators would remember the ghost that destroyed them. And humanity? They would watch, patient, ready, and silent, waiting for the moment the galaxy truly understood what it meant to face a species that did not exist in any records until now. Humanity had arrived. Quiet, invisible, invincible.